What's up, family? Hey, this is going to get kind of hectic, all right? Again, this is going to get kind of hectic. And it's not intentional, but it's something that we need to talk about, okay? Something we need to talk about. So often when we hear the word terrorism, we think of somebody from another country, that don't like our way of living, that don't value our lifestyle, that don't value our beliefs. There's a phrase that I want to talk about today: homegrown terrorism. I'm going to say it again: homegrown terrorism. It's not what you think I'm talking about. Homegrown terrorism in media and the government, and it's when someone has been convinced to take acts of terrorism against its own country and against its own citizens. That's the definition, the government definition of homegrown terrorism. There's another form of homegrown terrorism that I want to talk to you guys about. A form that's going to hit a little closer to home to each and every one of us. This form of homegrown terrorism is when we do things to ourselves, when we self-sabotage ourselves, when we beat ourselves down, when we talk down to ourselves, when we inflict pain upon ourselves, when we tell ourselves that we're stupid, that we can't do this and we can't do that, we can't accomplish this, when we tell ourselves we're ugly, we're fat, we're whoop-de-whoop-de, and we're saying all these things and we're talking all this negative stuff against ourselves. That is a form of homegrown terrorism. You have been convinced, whether it was your family, whether it was childhood, whether it was your ex, whatever it was, something has convinced you, someone has convinced you that you're not good enough. Someone has convinced you that you're not smart enough. Someone has convinced you that you're ugly, you're not beautiful enough, or that you're ugly. Someone has convinced you that you'll never be happy. Someone has convinced you that you don't deserve to be happy. Someone has convinced you that you'll never be married, that you don't deserve to be happily married. Someone has convinced you that you don't deserve that job, that you're not capable of having peace of mind. And you believed it. You believed it. And so you've lived your life believing that lie. You lived your life holding on to those negative, toxic beliefs. You are your own worst enemy. You are your own worst enemy having those negative thoughts. Somehow, some way, you're going to have to undo all of that madness. Somehow, some way, you're going to have to let go of all of that negative, toxic stuff. What happens when you're the toxic one? And what I mean by that, what happens when you've been abused as a kid? And so you got all these issues now as an adult, because you never resolved those issues. What happens when your father abandoned you or your mother was abusive to you and you never resolved those issues as a kid? And now you're grown and you still carry that pain. You still carry that trauma. You still carry that drama. Still talking about homegrown terrorism. Homegrown terrorism. Family. I was my worst enemy. I was my own worst enemy. Nobody could hate me as much as I hated myself. Nobody could dislike me as much as I disliked myself. Nobody could tear me down or put me down like I did to myself. I abused myself in ways that I would have beat other people down for even thinking about doing those things to me. Because in my mind, I had convinced myself it was acceptable. In my mind, I had convinced myself that it was okay. But let somebody else disrespect me, let somebody else step to me the way that I was doing myself, man, I would have slapped the dog mess out of them. I'm just being real. It is what it is. And we have to learn to start telling the truth to ourselves. We have to learn to man up, woman up, and be brutally honest. And acknowledge the fact that sometimes we're the problem. Sometimes we're the homegrown terrorists. We're the homegrown terrorists. It's nobody else's fault. It's not your daddy's fault. It's not your mama's fault. It's not your siblings' fault. It's not your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, anybody else's fault. And I don't care what happened to you. You're an adult now. You're an adult now. It's time to man up, time to woman up, and deal with those issues. Stop playing the victim, because you're not a victim. You're a victim of your own mentality. You're a victim of your own ignorant belief system. And because you won't let go of the past, because you continue to hold on to that drama and that chaos, you keep victimizing yourself. I'm speaking from experience, because I've done it a lot, you know what I mean? And I've shared my story. I've shared so much of my story. Not because I'm a victim, but because I want you guys to see, I want you to understand how easy it is to have had things happen to you in your past, to have gone through different things in your life, and to hold on to those things and not even knowingly become a homegrown terrorist. Because you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're destroying yourself. You don't even believe in yourself. You don't even like yourself. And so you go out and you want everybody else to like you. You want everybody else to love you because you don't like yourself. Because you don't love yourself. So you want everybody else to embrace you because you don't know how to embrace yourself. My hope and prayer is that you will start being real with yourself. Because in reality, that's why you're here. You're still here. And I don't care what you've gone through. I don't care how traumatic it was. I don't care how chaotic it was. You're still here. And there's other people that have gone through far worse. There's other people that have gone through less, and they've committed suicide. And whatever the case is, you're still here. You're still here for a reason. Learn to deal with your issues. Learn to resolve your issues and become a beacon of hope, a beacon of light, a beacon of joy for others. To help them out of their madness, to show them that, hey, you know what? If I could have gone through this, man, I went through this, man, you could do it too. And it shouldn't take you near as long as it took me because I was ignorant, rebellious, whatever the case may be. I didn't have anybody showing me the way. I had to figure it out, whatever. Whatever it is, you're here to be a beacon of light for others. You're here to share your story. You're here to share your experiences. You don't share your experiences because you're still haven't resolved them. You're still holding on to them. You're still scared that you're not going to be accepted. You're still scared that somebody's going to look down on you for it. You're still scared somebody's going to judge you for it. So you could say that you resolved them. If you're not sharing your experiences, if you're not using your story and your experiences to help other people, you haven't resolved your story. You haven't resolved your issues. I'm going to say that again. If you're not using your past, if you're not using your experiences, your painful experiences to help others, it's because you have not resolved those issues. You could get up, fake the funk like you ain't been through nothing all you want to. Real recognize real. Game recognize game. You will never be as powerful. You will never be as influential. You will never reach your full potential until you resolve those issues. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.